A 62-year-old man eats a modest lunch, yet only a few minutes after finishing, his eyes begin to close on their own, his head grows light, and his body loses energy far faster than he expects. He tells himself it is only fatigue, but the sudden drop in alertness feels sharper each week. When he takes a short 15-minute nap at midday, he hopes to feel refreshed, but waking up is harder than falling asleep. His head feels heavy, his vision dims for a moment, and he must hold on to the edge of the table just to stand without tipping forward. His heartbeat is another quiet warning. Some days it skips a beat. Other times it pounds harder for a few seconds, enough to make him pause and wait for it to settle. There are mornings when he feels faint and slightly nauseated, with weak legs that do not fully support him. Walking across the room takes more attention than it should. These sensations come and go, but never truly disappear. People around him say that everyone feels this way with age, that it is simply part of getting older. Yet the moment he nearly slips out of his chair, fear replaces doubt, and he realizes that something deeper may be unfolding beneath the surface. The previous warning signs make these common misunderstandings even more important to correct. Many people believe that feeling sleepy after a meal is natural. Yet in adults over 60, about 38% of post-meal drowsiness is linked to a temporary drop in blood pressure. Others think that eating a large lunch provides energy for the afternoon, but research shows that heavy, carbohydrate-rich meals cause sharp swings in blood sugar that lead to deeper fatigue later. Some insist that lying down right after eating supports digestion, while in reality, this habit can lower blood pressure by an additional 10 to 15% within the first 20 minutes. Many also rely on coffee after meals to stay alert, unaware that caffeine may raise the heart rate by 10 to 20 beats per minute without improving blood flow during a temporary post-meal shortage. Finally, the idea that age makes these issues unavoidable is incorrect. Since post-meal drops in blood pressure, which occur in 30 to 50% of older adults, can be improved with proper habits. The earlier misconceptions become clearer when we understand what is actually happening inside the body. After the age of 60, the elasticity of blood vessels naturally decreases by about 20 to 30%, making circulation slower and harder to regulate. This change alone reduces the body's ability to maintain stable blood pressure during daily activities. During lunch, 25 to 40% of the body's total blood volume is redirected to the digestive system within only 15 minutes. This rapid shift demands quick adjustments from the heart and blood vessels, adjustments that become less efficient with age. As the stomach pulls blood downward, the heart may not pump fast enough to compensate, and the brain receives less blood for a short period. This temporary reduction creates a wave of deep sleepiness or lightheadedness that many older adults describe after meals. Lying down immediately after eating intensifies the problem. Blood pressure drops further, and when a person rises too quickly, the body struggles to push blood back to the brain. This leads to orthostatic hypotension, a condition that affects more than 24% of older adults and often appears as dizziness, unsteady steps, or brief dimming of vision. These two temporary shortages of blood supply, one after eating and one after napping, combine to create a long, draining afternoon. Energy fades quickly, concentration becomes harder to sustain, and even simple tasks may feel heavier than they should. The earlier changes inside the body show why these consequences should not be taken lightly. Repeated drops in blood pressure after meals can reduce blood flow to the brain by 8 to 12%, a level that gradually affects memory, reaction speed, and overall mental sharpness. Many older adults do not notice these changes at first, but the impact often becomes clearer over months. The danger of falling also increases significantly. Standing up too quickly after a midday nap, while blood pressure is still low, can double or even triple the risk of losing balance. These episodes may last only seconds, yet they are enough to cause serious injuries. The heart also carries an added burden. It must work harder every afternoon to compensate for the sudden shifts in circulation, which can worsen existing cardiovascular conditions over time. Persistent afternoon fatigue disrupts the body's natural rhythm. When energy drops too deeply in the late day, the sleep-wake cycle becomes confused, raising the likelihood of nighttime insomnia by as much as 40%. Building on the earlier risks, practical adjustments become essential for people over 60 who want to keep their afternoons steady and energized. Choosing the right foods at lunch is one of the most effective ways to support blood pressure stability and reduce sudden drops in alertness. Light proteins are an important starting point. Options such as white fish, salmon, eggs, lentils, chickpeas, and chicken breast place far less strain on the digestive system compared to heavier red meats. Research indicates that light protein sources can reduce the likelihood of post-meal blood pressure drops by 15 to 20%, making them a safer choice for midday meals. Vegetables rich in fiber, including cauliflower, broccoli, zucchini, carrots, and mixed salads, help slow the absorption of carbohydrates. This slower process keeps blood pressure steadier and prevents the rapid rise and fall of blood sugar that often leads to afternoon fatigue. When paired with slow-digesting carbohydrates, the benefits become greater. Whole grain bread, quinoa, and brown rice can reduce blood sugar fluctuations by up to 30%, helping maintain consistent energy. Healthy fats also play a meaningful role. Olive oil, avocado, sunflower seeds, and walnuts provide sustained energy for 3 to 4 hours without causing heavy digestion. These fats support both heart health and stable metabolic function, two areas that become increasingly important with age. Fruits with lower sugar content, such as apples, pears, and berries, offer natural sweetness without triggering abrupt insulin spikes. They make a good finishing component for lunch, especially for individuals sensitive to sugar swings. How the meal is eaten matters just as much as what it contains. For older adults, lunch should supply about 30 to 35% of total daily energy. Eating slowly can cut the risk of post-meal blood pressure drops by half compared to rapid eating. Dividing lunch into 2 smaller portions, spaced slightly apart, improves blood pressure stability by 25 to 30% according to studies in older populations. Guidelines from geriatric nutrition groups across Europe consistently recommend a light, fiber-rich midday meal. Such meals help circulation remain more stable after eating and allow older adults to stay alert, balanced, and active throughout the afternoon. Continuing from the importance of choosing the right foods, it is equally important to recognize which items can worsen post-meal symptoms in older adults. Refined carbohydrates such as white bread, pasta, and pizza cause a rapid rise in insulin, followed by a steep drop in blood pressure that can trigger dizziness and sudden fatigue. These foods are digested quickly, forcing the body to respond in ways that become harder to manage after the age of 60. Fatty meats, processed meats, and sausages also create significant strain on the digestive system. They require more time and effort to break down, drawing blood toward the stomach for an additional 30 to 60 minutes. This prolonged shift leaves the heart and brain with less support at a time when stability is already more fragile. Fried foods slow digestion even further. When the stomach works harder, blood remains concentrated in the abdomen for too long, reducing the blood available for circulation elsewhere. This effect can intensify the sensation of heaviness and reduce energy for the entire afternoon. Sugary desserts, such as pastries, milk chocolate, and custard cause blood sugar to spike quickly before dropping just as fast. This sharp swing often leads to deep tiredness and a lack of focus. Coffee after lunch may increase palpitations without providing real alertness, especially when the body is already experiencing a temporary shortage of blood flow. Alcoholic beverages worsen the issue by causing strong vasodilation, which can lower blood pressure by an additional 5 to 10 units. Endocrinology and gastroenterology specialists note that these food groups frequently make post-meal symptoms more intense in older adults, especially those already dealing with circulation or blood pressure issues. Building on the earlier points about foods to avoid, hydration becomes another factor that can strongly influence how the body reacts after lunch. Drinking 250 to 300 milliliters of water about 20 minutes before eating slightly increases circulating volume and reduces the likelihood of post-meal blood pressure drops by 20 to 25%. This simple preparation helps the body handle the shift of blood toward digestion. During the meal, only small sips should be taken, because drinking too much water while eating can accelerate digestion and pull more blood into the stomach. About 30 minutes after finishing lunch, additional water or mild herbal teas such as chamomile or peppermint can help support gentle digestion. Strong tea and very cold water should be avoided since they may cause blood vessel constriction or mild rhythm irregularities. Spreading water intake evenly throughout the day helps older adults maintain greater blood pressure stability. Geriatric specialists emphasize that drinking water before meals remains one of the most reliable and practical strategies to limit post-lunch hypotension. After learning how proper hydration reduces post-meal drops in blood pressure, the next step is to make midday rest safer. To rest safely at midday, the nap should be limited to 15 to 20 minutes. Sleeping longer than 30 minutes increases the chance of entering deep sleep, which often leads to grogginess and reduced alertness upon waking. It is also important to wait 30 to 45 minutes after eating before lying down. During this period, the digestive system becomes more stable, and the body no longer needs to divert as much blood toward the stomach. Position matters as well. Elevating the head by 10 to 15 centimeters helps maintain steadier circulation and lowers the risk of a post-nap drop in blood pressure. When waking, it is safest to remain still for about 30 seconds. Move the legs gently, and then sit up slowly. Research indicates that standing immediately can triple the likelihood of dizziness. According to sleep specialists, short naps combined with a slow, controlled awakening significantly reduce the chance of post-lunch lightheadedness in older adults. Building on the importance of safe midday rest, certain habits can help keep blood circulating toward the heart instead of pooling in the abdomen. A gentle walk of 5 to 10 minutes after lunch supports steady blood flow and reduces the tendency of blood to accumulate in the digestive area. This light movement helps the heart maintain stable circulation without adding strain. It is also helpful to avoid bending forward or lying down immediately after eating, since both positions can cause blood to shift suddenly toward the stomach. Keeping the lunch portion moderate prevents excessive blood being directed to digestion, which can reach up to 40% with a very large meal. For individuals who take blood pressure medication, discussing timing with a physician is important because some medications may intensify post-meal blood pressure drops. Checking blood pressure for several days at midday helps identify personal patterns and areas that need adjustment. Cardiology specialists consistently report that light walking after a meal is one of the most effective natural ways for older adults to stabilize blood pressure. With these daily habits in place, it is important to recognize when a medical evaluation is necessary. Symptoms that appear every day should not be ignored, as they may signal a persistent drop in blood pressure. Strong dizziness or a clearly irregular heartbeat after lunch or after a short nap also requires attention. Individuals who take cardiovascular medication should seek medical guidance if midday fatigue becomes noticeably worse. Any episode of nearly falling or fainting upon standing is a clear warning that a professional assessment is needed. With timely medical guidance and consistent daily practice, meaningful improvement can appear sooner than expected. After 2 weeks of reducing fast carbohydrates, eating more slowly, drinking water before meals, and avoiding lying down right after lunch, the man noticed a clear change. The episodes of dimming vision when standing disappeared. His afternoons felt sharper, and his steps became steadier. He realized that a few small adjustments were enough to bring his daily rhythm back to normal. These improvements highlight a deeper message. Midday drowsiness or dizziness after a short nap is not simply a sign of aging. It is the body's way of signaling that the circulatory system is under strain and struggling to maintain stable blood flow. Adjusting how one eats, drinks, and rests during the day becomes the key to keeping blood directed toward the heart and the brain. When circulation is steady, the entire afternoon becomes clearer, safer, and far more manageable.